everyone. Welcome back to my channel and welcome back to the Pixie Palace. And we are here for another edition of the Moonwatch series as we are in the full moon in Aquarius. And it's a very watery, emotional time. Aren't you sick of hearing about that? It's always emotional. It's always intense. Well, I'm sorry, my friend. It's still intense. And it's a good thing all these emotional issues will come up. All the intensified happy times will occur because it's all lessons that we all need to learn in our individual paths, as well as really getting in touch with our emotions. A lot of the time, the way society conditions us, we are taught to not feel too much, not be too emotional. And if we are, we get ridiculed for it or judged for it, or, oh, get over this. You're too, intense. You're too emotional. And really, it does have its place. Of course, as I always say, there's balance, of course. But emotions really keep us in touch with our heart space. And this is what we're here to learn. So, this will be bringing a huge wave of that intense energy. And a lot of it is going to be for the highest good. So here we're going to do a 3-card drawing as always. And I'm using the Moonology Oracle card deck by Yasmin Boland. A lot of you asked about this deck, and I've seen a couple of you have bought this and really like the cards. So the links are below for the card deck and the book that comes along with it. So in case you're interested. I don't know about you guys, but my energy has been elevated the past few days. And no, not in that sense. I just felt a natural energy spike as of late. That's why I've been really in my creative flow. That's why I'm taking advantage of it. During this period, we're going to feel the ups and downs of our energy levels. We're going to be go, 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 and then crash. We're going to be go, 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 rest. And that is okay. Feel free to embrace that. We're always taught to go, go, go. And when we're picking up momentum, we don't want to stop because we are a little bit nervous that we'll lose that momentum. But if you find a balance that works for you, allow yourself to work really hard, but also allow yourself to rest, do self-care, because these energy levels will be tiring, whether they're good or not. So it's really, really important to keep hydrating, keep resting. Don't be afraid to take breaks. And that's actually more ideal if you do. If you need to take a step back for a day because you're getting overwhelmed or whatever solutions you're trying to find aren't coming to you, take that day, regardless if it makes people happy or not. It's what helps you. That's the important thing. It came to me to let you all know that because I know some people need to hear that. And I have to remind myself of that as well. I need to slow down sometimes and take that rest. Even if it's to have a cup of tea and binge my TV show. I'm not afraid to say it. As spiritual as I am, I like my shows. So, you got to have that time sometimes. So let's get into it. But before I keep babbling, we're going to shuffle the cards. As usual, I always shuffle a little bit before I turn the recorder on, just so that all the energy from the last reading is cleared and we get a more accurate reading. All right. See, this time, well, I was about to say, this time they're flowing really well, and then they get all stuck up. It's so funny. All right. One more shuffle, and then we're good to go. Oop, slow. Okay. Maybe another one. Okay. Let's see what is in store for all of us. Okay. 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 This is very interesting. Okay, the first one is a time to give rather than take. Now, this is pretty self-explanatory, and it's always a good thing to do. Yes, you should practice self-care. You should pay attention to what your body needs or what your heart needs or what your mind needs. But it's also a time to really think about giving back, especially if it's towards something you normally don't do so. It could be a friend or family member that maybe you haven't been in touch with for a while and they're struggling through a really tough time and need that extra support. Reach out to them, even if it's just a phone call, a text, even an email, just something to let them know you're there, you're supporting them, and regardless of what they're doing, and just let them know you're there. Sometimes that in itself is enough. If it's for a project that you started, but maybe you left it to the wayside because you just didn't have time for it or you didn't feel inspired, try looking at it again. See what you can give to that project. And also, don't be afraid to let go of it if it's not serving you. Sometimes that's another way to give. You give yourself that permission to release whatever doesn't serve you anymore. And it's pretty much whatever comes to mind first, or it could just be paying it forward for someone that you don't even know in that drive through at McDonald's, or just doing something nice because it's the right thing to do. And it's a great feeling because when you do a pay it forward or give somebody help, or do it without an agenda, without looking for, oh, what can I get out of this? When you truly do it from the heart space, it's such an amazing feeling because that has a butterfly effect. It actually ripples out into their lives as well as to others that they're connected to. Because when you do something nice for someone else, then they're more likely to do that themselves, whether they're conscious of it or not. It's kind of a positive attracts positive, negative attracts negative. So it's a really interesting phenomenon. So when you're doing it, you don't even have to think all about that. It's just do out of the goodness of your heart because you want to, not because you feel you have to. Okay. The second one, which is kind of apropos considering we were just talking about that, what do you need to release? And that is waning moon. This, again, is self explanatory. The universe is being very direct in the messages. What have you been hanging on to that you refuse to let go of, even though it no longer serves you? We all struggle with this. It could be a relationship, it could be a job that you know you need to pay the bills, so you're afraid to let go and take that leap into your dream career or that dream goal that you have for a business. It could be visiting a beautiful state or country. We're probably not doing a lot of international travel right now, but within the country, but you're afraid of the mainstream media taking the narrative of, oh, stay in that fear mentality. Um, think of what you really need to release in order to go forward and have a full life. It's really hard to do this sometimes because it's scary letting go because you don't know what's going to happen. But I guarantee you, one way or another, when you do let go, you allow the room for the new things to come in, and usually they're much better than the thing you let go of. Not that it didn't have its importance at its time. It did serve you at one time or another, whether it was for you to learn a lesson or to just bring joy to your life. But if it's no longer serving you, why carry that weight around? Why succumb to that angst or sadness because you can't have that anymore? There is a reason for everything. And even though it may not seem like it when you're going through it at the time, in hindsight, you will see it. I've gone through this so many times in my life, and I'm sure I'll go through it again, like we all will. But when you allow yourself to let go, the transition becomes a little easier. And sometimes, in some cases, things that new thing comes in very quickly. The universe is just waiting for you to take the first step, and then it'll match every step that you take. So just think of what you need to release, allow yourself to honor it, meditate over it, maybe pray over it, and let it go. Make that decision consciously. And last but not least, and this is so important nowadays, it's time to release the negativity. And this is full moon in Scorpio. I take a deep breath as I'm thinking about this. It is so easy to complain It's so easy to bitch about things. It's so easy to hang on to that resentment, to judge others. And a lot of the time when we're feeling all this, our feelings are always valid. They always stem from somewhere, but it's usually a deeper rooted issue that we're trying to work through. Or maybe we're not trying to work through, but comes out in that negative action or energy. You may not even be doing any of those things, but you have that negative mindset that really colors everything you do and everything you see. When I have a rough day, I'm human like everybody else. I get frustrated. Like this morning, I woke up, had a very nice day yesterday. It was in a great mood when I went to sleep. Wake up, I hear, believe it or not, my new neighbors stomping around. It sounded like they were bowling, and I thought they were going to be a better neighbor, and they have been to the extent, but they are starting to get loud, and that's my pet peeve. And then I heard weed whackers outside, and I was getting really frustrated. I'm like, man, it's 6:30 in the morning. This should not be happening right now. I was like, what is this doing for me? Is this serving me? Is this a way I want to wake up and start my day? No. So I decided to make a cup of coffee, and I watched a video of a wonderful card reader that I love, and thought of the day before and how wonderful it was. I really raised my frequency to a state where, yes, I heard the noise, but it didn't bother me as much. And it can change. I mean, your energy changes all day. I might get a little miffed later too, but at least in this present moment, it really helped because it actually made everything else flow smoother. When I stay in that mindset, I notice I get irritated, and then I might drop things, and everything else annoys me, and then I get grumbly, and then I want to bitch and complain. And yeah, it feels good to do that for the moment, but it's almost like a snowball effect. It keeps going and going. And before you know it, it messes up your whole day. And for what? No reason. So, while of course we're gonna have our feelings, and of course we gotta acknowledge and honor them, and feel it for a minute. When we choose to let go of that negativity, things kind of seem to calm down or fix itself. But it's reminding yourself and being more mindful. Okay, how can I approach this from at least a neutral aspect, or maybe a little more hopeful aspect? Because being positive doesn't mean you're happy all the time. Unfortunately, positivity gets bad rap. Because you may be going through a bad time in your life, and you're like, I don't feel very happy, and I'm not going to feel very happy. And that is okay. When we remind ourselves of that little bit of faith that we do have, even if it's the size of a mustard seed, as they say in the Bible, is really, really amazing how different your perspective becomes. It really helps. You go forward in your day, and you take it day by day, and it gets a tiny bit easier and tiny bit easier each day. Look around you, look what's positive in your life, look what you can be grateful for, even if it's one thing. It's really amazing when you find that one thing that gets you out of bed every morning and keeps you going, or that cup of coffee like I love. Just something. And that actually puts you in a little bit more of the positive state. And that in itself can grow. So when you allow yourself to release that negative energy, even if it's one moment at a time, you would notice that your energy starts to raise, and you'll feel a lighter um, energy in your heart. You won't feel as heavy, because when that negative energy comes around and we succumb to it, we feel it in our hearts, we feel it in our bodies. Our bodies are sore and tense, and our hearts are heavy, and our minds are just in the ego state, and it seems like we can't see past it. And it's really easy to succumb to that. If you're not used to being positive and you're not used to being in that mindset, what's it going to hurt you? Choose positivity for a day. See what it brings you. And don't be fake about it. Don't be like, oh, yeah, I'm happy, when you're not. take joy in something you love, like a hobby or relationship, or like I said, or that coffee, whatever brings you joy, and you'll notice that will overlap into other aspects of your life. So I know that's a little bit of a long explanation. There's so many different levels to this. This time period is going to be very thought provoking, more intentional, as we work on ourselves, take our power back, and be ourselves, be authentic, not care what other people think, and not allow their negative energy affect you for the long run. So that's a full moon card reading this time around. It is a very, very intense reading. There's a lot to take away from this. Be gentle with yourselves as always. Again, self care is important. See what you can do to show your compassion for others, even if it's in the smallest way. I hope you guys got something from it. As always, take whatever resonates for you and discard the rest. I will be back next time with the new moon card reading. I hope you guys have a beautiful rest of the month. I love you all and thank you so much for the support. Please click like and subscribe if you like these kind of readings. It really helps my channel grow. Plus, it allows this community to grow as well. Until the next time, to know thyself is to know thy truth. Namaste.